Okay, again, no intro today, folks. We're getting straight into this. It turns out, executive is now admitting that $200 million disaster cannot be handled. They can't handle it anymore. Shocking, isn't it? Well, let's see.
The level of trust that gamers have in companies is at an all-time low. We do not trust companies to hire the best people for the jobs, or that those people are going to put their best foot forward, make high-quality content, and ultimately give gamers what they want to consume. But we have seen so many major failures over the past couple of years. Look at something like Concord, right? Over $500 million went into that game, and it's basically just a burnt cash at this point, given it had to go offline. And now a former PlayStation boss is saying that $200 million AAA budgets mean publishers are greenlighting fewer games, which could be good for the industry.
That could be good. You guys have to understand one thing. The question we should be asking ourselves is that how the hell did they lose this much money? That's the first question. And second, how can they repair it? We'll get to that. The one thing I have to ask, is this either mismanagement, money laundering, employee slacking? Smug Alana says that, ask her chat, is it money laundering? Generally, folks, there has to be something when companies lose more than $100 million.
I love a big, expansive experience, right? I love when a game does something larger than life and it pushes boundaries and pushes limits and it looks insane. And I love getting that type of experience. But at the same time, when a company is putting hundreds of millions of dollars into one single project, they typically play it safe. They do what they know is going to sell because they want to make that money back. And if they take a major risk with a budget that high, it could turn out to be a disaster. And if we are getting games that are a smaller budget, but we're getting more of them, I think that that would actually be good for the industry because it means developers are going to be able to take risks. We might get content that potentially isn't groundbreaking, but is still really fun and might be unique in certain ways. Maybe like the gameplay is pretty generic, but the story's really crazy, or vice versa. And now Yoshida is coming out and talking about how ballooning game budgets are limiting the number of games that can be made. And
I think Verida is gonna say this, but I will add either way. Here's the thing. Why fewer games? We have to ask ourselves why they are now limited to fewer games. Well, besides budget, they knew if that game flopped. And here's another problem. I think it's time publisher, any executive, control their employees, or in this case, the art director. Because if these people who hate gamers open their mouth, such as Matt Hansen, who says he's creating a game for Elon Musk to be mad, South of Midnight's community manager, Pikachu Lita, I hate white gamers. Yes, she said that. That is one thing that they're probably not gonna do. They're probably going to avoid this. They're not gonna announce it, but I think Baradak will say that.
you're putting $500 million into a single game. You're not developing another game like that over that development period. You expect that game to be major. I mean, Sony went out of their way to buy Firewalk Studios thinking this was going to be a massive new IP and that Concord was going to be a smashing success. I mean, they even had an episode of Secret Level. None of that turned out good. They had to shut the game down. The rumor is that they're going to basically reskin it and try to like retool it and reuse it. I don't think that that's going to happen. But either way, that was a major failure. They lost hundreds of millions of dollars.
I think the problem is that an Idumi executive could at least listen to consumer. If it's broken, well, at least fixable. What can we fix it? What can we fix? I don't think PlayStation is going to announce Sweet Baby Inc. Okay, they're not gonna put it. I don't think Veridark can read them or find the word Sweet Baby Inc. on it because we all know Sweet Baby Inc. tanked an entire game. Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. How many did that ended up? You guys remember that?
Are they going to make another game like Concord anytime soon? Probably not. I mean, sure, they're still doing like live service and progressive content, but I don't think that they're going to try to make another hero shooter anytime soon. It says, though, in an appearance on the Kit and Krista channel, the ex-exec who used to be in charge of PlayStation's first-party studios explained how it felt like going big was safer during the PS4 generation, which you can see in the company's output during that era. PlayStation notably had less patapons and gravity rushes and and way more blockbusters that simply smelled expensive. God of War, Horizon, The Order, etc. Now, not every low budget game is going to be a smashing success. Some of them are going to fall flat. I personally really like seeing the Patapons and the Gravity Rushes and the repos, and I know so many other people feel the same.
That is true. I think the only way that companies, or in this case a video game, can tank is when one person says something that's probably going to tank everything. Matt Hansen did it? I mean, what else? I can list a lot of examples, but Sally will be here all day. And this is more like a late night recording.
Same time, I love seeing the big, expensive games. Unfortunately, though, when we see a game that is a big budget, we almost always know now that the developers are going to play it too safe, and it's probably just going to be more of the same. It's not going to be super unique or interesting because they're just afraid of losing money.
Well, that is warranted, but then again, if they don't put, or perhaps if their budget is bloated at this point, well then, perhaps instead they could have succeeded. I mean, seriously, why attack the fans? You know full well when you attack the fans, everyone will leave en masse, your game failed, studio shut down. No, genuinely, folks. Yeah, they're not gonna announce Sweet Baby Inc. I think this article doesn't says it about Sweet Baby Inc. being one of the cause of it.
It may be counterintuitive, but if we spent enough money to make the big game, the chance of success felt increased because everybody wanted to play bigger games with more beautiful graphics and more realistic looking characters and more gameplay hours. Yoshida then mentioned how AAA budgets, sometimes exceeding 200 million, meant publishers chose to greenlight a smaller number of games. They need to learn from titles like Expedition 33. That game didn't have a $200 million budget. That game didn't have a team of hundreds of people. That game didn't take them 8 years of development time. It just took a smaller group of extremely passionate people and people who were actually good at their jobs, people who didn't put a narrative first, people who didn't worry about what the response was going to be to their game. They just wanted to create a high quality, fun experience, and look at how massively successful that turned out to be.
Okay, that is true. Only the problem is activists, okay? Many people they hired, they didn't, I don't know, I don't think Rocksteady even researched every writer they hire for narrative. Mary Kenny, I don't think Rocksteady knows that that person is an activist. We all know activists, they don't do their jobs.
AAA budgets, and we don't even really need AAA companies anymore, given they're not listening to what we want, and they're not trying to innovate, and they're not trying to actually push the boundaries at all whatsoever. And I know sometimes that can be hard, right? Sometimes it can be difficult to create new gameplay systems or new stories that don't feel too convoluted or confusing and that can actually appeal to people, but there are still ways to innovate.
Well, that's the thing, because if they do, their partners from either Sweet Baby Inc. out making games, they'll get offended. Unbelievable. Now you know why AA, indie, and even games made in the East are thriving. It doesn't matter what you're gonna do with your money, the one you build or anything, but you have to understand one thing. If you attack your audience, either midway to development, don't be surprised when gamers didn't buy it, okay? Or perhaps boycott it. And also don't release the game on the same day. Black Myth Wukong released on the same day as Dustborn. Who win? Of course, Black Myth Wukong. More than 2 million players. Dustborn couldn't even make it that far. And it's true, it happens. Go on SteamDB, check these two games. Black Myth Wukong and Dustborn. Check the release date. Both of them released on the same day. I'm not joking. I think Smug Alana did say, yo, do you think this is money laundering? Because you don't lose $200 million out of nowhere and become the fart of the wind. I mean, there has to be something, unless of course if your studio has government money, which I don't think Rocksteady has government money. No, I don't think so. But you guys, do you think Rocksteady has any connection to the government or anything? So here's the thing, it doesn't matter what budget it is, you're allowed to do whatever it is. But understand one thing, if your budget is bloated and you attack the fans, the gamers, don't be surprised if your game failed and shut down a few weeks or perhaps in 2 weeks left. In just 2 weeks. Don't be surprised.
Well done, Griffin. Now we got this airfield secured, we can get a foothold on this island and start pushing the Japanese back. We're through retreating, lad. America's back in this war.
Leave a like and subscribe if you want gaming news, gaming theories, or you just want to see me play games. You can visit my first, third, and fourth channel up here or link in the description.